Crude oil is extremely useful in the new Palworld update and used to make every single new item and weapon, and here are the best ways to get it. Alright guys, so if you played in the new update, you've definitely been trying to get some crude oil recently. It is pretty hard to get. I've seen a lot of people complain in the comments about how hard it is to get, and yesterday we just made a dog coin video on the different methods on how to get the most dog coin. So now we are going to do the second most valuable resource in the new update, which is the crude oil. So there's a few different methods, some of which I'm sure you guys probably don't even know about, some that I recently just learned about, and the obvious first method on how to get this is using the PAL crude oil extractor. Now, I don't really recommend this this method for new players because these are expensive to build. They are really expensive. You can only build them on these little oil deposits around the map, which means you need an entire new base to build them. They're super duper slow, and worst of all, they require so much electricity. It took me so long to build up enough infrastructure to even get these to run, because even one of these takes like a ridiculous amount of electricity, and that's without even everything else in your base, like the stoves, like the little things that you build stuff with, like the little ovens and all that kind of stuff, which everything takes electricity, and these take like 90% of it. So this original method, which is probably how most people get their PAL oil, honestly I don't think is rated very high. Now, there is something you can do to make it a little bit faster. As you guys have seen over here, I actually have two of them on one oil deposit, which you're not supposed to do. And I've seen on Reddit in a few other places that some people have got like 4 or 5 on one deposit. I'm not entirely sure if that's fake or real. If anyone knows how to do that, feel free to drop it in the comments or the Discord, and I will definitely be checking that out. But I know for sure you can get 2 on this. Now, it is extremely hard to get 2, so we're just kind of going to skip over this method. I have an entire video on my channel on how to do this. If you guys want to check that out, it's called like doubling the amount of oil you can get or something along those lines, but it takes forever. Some people even think it's patched because of how hard it is to do, so I don't really recommend doing it. But if you want to do that, you can. And again, it doesn't really solve any of the original issues because you can only double the amount of oil you get, which is still super duper slow, as you can see, and it takes double the amount of electricity, which is double a metric crap ton, which is still 2 metric crap tons. So it takes an insane amount of electricity. However, we're going to move on to method number 2. We just briefly had to mention that you can just do it the normal way, which obviously takes forever, but you can glitch it also to get 2 on one oil deposit, and you can do that. However, I'm sure most people know about that. I'm not sure what the amount of oil you can get per hour is. It's probably like 1 oil per minute, so it's probably like 60 an hour, which is super duper slow. However, if you are on the new island, like I am, all the way over here at the top left of the map, or some other places where these spawns, you can actually find the little Kit Kat, I keep trying to like say his name and not say the candy Kit Kat, but I don't know how. I don't even remember what it's called. We'll see in a second here. If you head over to the areas over here, I guess it is a Kit. I don't know, maybe I'm stupid, I don't know, but you can go over and find a bunch of these. Now, I do have 3 times spawn on because I think it makes the game a little bit more fun. However, even without 3 times spawns, these guys spawn in huge hordes, and my favorite weapon to do this with is the flamethrower. So you can just get them all in one group and absolutely spray them down, and these kind of pals actually drop crude oil every once in a while. They don't drop it 100% of the time, but they drop it about 30% of the time. So if you sit here and kill a whole bunch of them, you can see, what did that take, like 30 seconds? We can go over and collect a huge amount of crude oil. There we go. I got 12 crude oil. Oh, I guess I already had like 11 in my inventory or something. I don't really know where that came from. But yeah, you can get like an absurd amount of crude oil very, very easily. So I'm just going to keep 11 in my inventory so we can keep track of how much we got. And we are going to go around and do this for only about 5 minutes and see how much crude oil we can get. But you guys can already see 11 crude oil from just like 5 seconds of work is already way more worth it than doing the original oil deposits. So I definitely recommend doing this if you're in need of some quick crude oil. So you guys can see sometimes they spawn in like smaller groups like this. It's kind of really annoying because they run away super duper quickly, so you kind of have to like tag them up, and that's why I like using the flamethrower, because they won't run away if you damage them. If you damage them, they won't run away. They'll actually be mad at you and they'll sit here and like let you kill them. They're definitely not that strong. Even though they're a high level, their attacks do almost no damage, and the fire does a ton of damage to them. So these are the perfect pals to just like get a good weapon and just absolutely spray them down. Even if you were a low level, I would not be surprised if you can get like that Fox pal and just use his flamethrower ability to spray these guys down. And I'm not really sure what you're going to be able to do with crude oil at a low level. I don't even know if you can do anything with it at that level, but it's definitely an easy, affordable, quick way to get crude oil without having to do some of the other harder methods. The first one is definitely what I would do if I was like AFKing or keeping the game on for a long time, or plan to have a long-term crude oil base. But if you don't need crude oil in the super long term and you just want some quick crude oil right now to be able to go and build some stuff or get some new weapons or new armor or anything along those lines, destroying these little key cats over here, these little armadillo like pals with the flamethrower or any other weapon, is a super duper easy way to get crude oil. So let's go kill one more pack of these. Again, I do have 3 times spawns on. Some people think that's cheating, but in my opinion, it just makes the game a little bit harder, which is a lot more fun for me because I'm a pretty high level already and I've done most of the stuff in the game. So I want the game to be a little bit more challenging so it still feels fun. That is why I like 3 times spawns on. However, it's not really cheating. I mean, they put it in the game for a reason, and I don't really think it's cheating because it makes the game harder. However, there are definitely some benefits like this, where you can just spray down 3 times the amount of pals and get 3 times the amount of materials in the same amount of time. So there we go. We get all that crude oil, and let's check how much that is. 32 crude oil plus a bunch of like leather and everything, which I don't really need, but that is still pretty useful. And only a few minutes. I think that was like 3 minutes total. So that method is definitely probably my favorite, but we have some other pretty crazy methods too. Let's check them out. Let's deposit this stuff into one of these boxes so we can compare all the different methods later on. Here we go. So that one got us some crude oil and then a bunch of leather and bones. 32 crude oil in what? Only like 3 minutes. That is way faster because while we were gone, our crude oil things only produced about 2 or 3 oil. We have about 3 of them, so let's just say it produced probably about 8 while we were gone, which is still a really good amount since we have this many oil producers. But that took us to use the glitch, and then also we already have like a million of these. How many do we have at this base? I think we have like 4 or 5 oil producers, crude oil producers, so that gave us about 8 in the same amount of time, about 5 minutes, while this method gave us 32 in about 5 minutes. Now this next method is definitely the hardest, but it can get you an absurd amount of crude oil. So let's take a look. While we're making some ammo and getting ready for that, feel free to subscribe if you guys want. We're trying to beat last month's subscription record of only 300 subs. Plus we got 100 likes on the last video, which is absolutely crazy. But once we're done finishing up with the rockets, we are building an insane amount of ammo to head over to the oil rig, because supposedly you get tons of crude oil there. Alright, we have 35 missile ammo for our guided missile launchers, and then we also have a flamethrower, which isn't that good. I wish we had like our laser rifle with us. We don't have much ammo for that, but we'll see. I think just the guided missile launcher will work. This is the best weapon to do the oil rig with. However, it's still super duper challenging, and not everybody can do this. Like if you're low level, you are going to get destroyed going to the oil rig. So I can definitely see why this is the hardest method by far. However, it might reap some really good rewards. So let's go see. There we go. We can see it in the distance over here. I would not be surprised if this gave us like 100 crude oil or something along those lines. It definitely should give us a lot because of how insane the oil rig is, how hard it is to do. Some people are in the comments flexing on me saying it's like super easy and they do it all the time. Guys, there's no need to lie, bro. Like you might be able to do the oil rig pretty easily, but it's still one of the hardest things in the game to do. And they even made it that way on purpose. All right, not sure why we're getting caught on the random pieces of grass. I'm just going to do the grappling glitch real quick. I've shown this 1,000 times on the channel, so you should know how to do it already. If not, you can check out, I'm pretty sure, our full vids on it. But we're going to head over to the oil rig and try and do it legitly. Most of the time when I do it on my channel, I'm only there for like one specific reason. So we try and like do it super duper fast and skip over everything. But we're actually going to try and complete it. Now, I'm not sure how well that's going to go. I've only completed it about once or twice by getting all the chests, and it is pretty hard. Even with some of the best armor in the game I have on and a bunch of rocket ammo and everything, it's still a pretty hard monument to do. I'm actually really impressed with what they managed to do with this, because it is a hard monument. Definitely adds a large feeling of like progress to the game. So let's try and skip through this, try and do this as much as possible, and see how much crude oil we can get. You can see there's even some crude oil right here. I don't think we can pick that up, but hopefully we can get something to do with this. All right, we've cleared out the first area. I think these guys, they even drop crude oil also, so let's go check that out. I'm trying to check my phone at the same time. Oh my goodness, he is doing a lot of damage. Hold on, we have to go regen. That was a mistake to go on my phone. I didn't think that one guy would do that much damage. The guided missile launcher kind of makes us like cheating. Like, you can just sit in the corner and do most of the work over here. I don't know why my flamethrower is going up. Does it not work on the oil rig or something? Okay, it does. However, let's go see how much crude oil they dropped us. There's a chest right there. We can go pick that up. I believe there's some crude oil in these chests too. Yep, 11 crude oil already. Plus, there's some chance that you can get some like rare schematics, like golden legendary schematics. It's pretty hard to get, but there's still a chance. Okay, 3 more crude oil there. So far, it's not really looking like you can get an insane amount. 14 already, I guess, is pretty good, but it's really expensive since we already used a bunch of rockets and everything. So hopefully we're able to get a lot more. Can I disable this? All right, there we go. And this is like not really viable for newer players. Like, if you're a new player, you cannot walk over to the oil rig and just do this by yourself with like without getting absolutely destroyed. So I'm not really a big fan of this method, even though I guess it's kind of working. We've got to like 17 crude oil or whatever. It's taking a lot longer than some of the other methods, and definitely not as good. All right, that took forever. So far we have 26 crude oil, and we just got the chest right here. So hopefully we'll get something out of here. Oh my goodness. See, this method, even if we got a ton of crude oil, I don't think would have been all the way worth it, because we have to use so many rockets and it takes so much time, and it's honestly really hard to do without dying. So hopefully this chest gives us like 100 crude oil. I don't really remember how much it does give you, but maybe something would be great. Oh, yo, I did not think it gave you that much. It gave us 70 crude oil and a million missiles. How much was that? Holy cow, that actually gave us a lot. Let's get out of here and go compare that to the other two methods. I was really not expecting it to be that good. All right, we have arrived home. Oh my, I'm still in disbelief by how good the oil rig is. I did the chest before, and I do not remember it giving us that much. So it gave us 70 crude oil plus a lot of like this random stuff, which is okay, but still pretty good. Overall, it took us like 20 minutes. So I'm not gonna lie, it took a while. So 20 minutes for all of this versus 5 minutes for this. So if you times this by 4, you actually got more crude oil doing this, but you got like 100 rockets and stuff during the other one versus just normal in 5 minutes. So times these two by 4 to get about the equivalence. So for this, it would be 32 crude oil if we just built a few of these little oil constructors around our base and waited 20 minutes, which, you know, is okay, but that's still for only 32. Like, that would take forever. Versus finding the Kit Kat little pals and timesing this by 4, which will give us about 120. That is a lot of crude oil for just killing some low level like pals running around, which I did very, very easily, as you can see. So this is a really good method versus the oil rig, which you get over 70 crude oil, I believe, plus a bunch from killing the pals, plus a bunch of missile and a bunch of other random stuff. So overall, I think my winner is number 2. Just going around the new island and killing the little Kit Kat pals is super duper easy, and it gives you a whole bunch of oil. But if you don't like turning the spawn rate up, or you don't like doing it that way, or you're a higher level and you have everything already and you think you're above, like going killing a bunch of pals, which is fair. I guess the oil rig, I did not expect it to be this good. In the dog coin video I made, it was nowhere near this good, and I didn't expect it to be a viable option. However, this is a very close second place, and if you're a super high level, I can see why you would prefer the oil rig over just going around and killing pals, because this is an absurd amount. I did not think it would give you 70. Either way, these two methods are a lot better than just building the oil extractors at your base. Even if you do the glitch to get 2 for every 1 oil thing, you still need to do a bunch of other things, like get enough electricity, get enough pals, like transport all of it. You have to wait for all of it, plus it can be destroyed in like raids and stuff. It's just kind of annoying to have them all at your base, and you always have to be AFKing and everything. While the other two methods are much better, I'm actually really surprised by how easy it was to do the other two methods. So overall, I'm going to give my winner to number 2. You guys let me know which method out of the 3 you liked the most, and make sure to sub if you want more videos to show the best ways to get some materials, plus a bunch of new glitches, mod menus, all that kind of stuff for legit players or players who like to cheat. I have videos for everybody, so we're going to be uploading a lot more. Make sure you sub up if you want, and let me know which method you guys liked the best or which method you guys use in your own world.